What makes Jetstream so different?
So Jetstream is scheduled and unscheduled maintenance, tip to tail for the airplane. So we go in for annual servicing, tires, brakes, everything is included on Jetstream.
What is Tap Blue, and is that included?
Yeah, Tap Blue is basically, it's an accrual program for the engine. It's where the previous owner has paid their share, basically, if you think of, for their usage of the engine, and you're just transferring that to the new owner, and they take up the tab from there. So Tap Blue.
Yep. I mean, most jets have a lot of ownership expense, right? Not only are you going to pay the annual of the airplane, you're going to pay for your databases, you're going to pay for your engine reserves, you're going to pay for everything else that goes with it. But with a Cirrus Jet, Jetstream is turnkey. You pay the manufacturer, and then everything else is included.
Everything down to the recurrent training
Exactly.
is part of Jetstream.
Yep. How do I pay for Jetstream?
So Jetstream is a 12-month subscription program that's renewed on that anniversary. It's something that you can pay cash for, or you can even finance that included with the purchase of an aircraft.
Let me ask you the question, Daniel. So what makes Jetstream so different than any other airplane?
I think that it's just a worry-free cost that just is behind you, because owning a jet is a complicated piece of equipment. It's not exactly easy, and I think Cirrus just makes it very easy. It takes all the variables out of owning a jet, and it just is a once a year, you pay for it, and it's done, and it's behind you, and you don't think about it.
Yep. There are no surprises with Jetstream.
If a plane has Jetstream and a plane doesn't have Jetstream, what's the difference in value?
Well, what's interesting is, because it's such a value, no SF50 out there doesn't have it. So all owners are taking it up because it's such a program, again, where you're accruing all that engine expense that you've put on the airplane, and it's transferable to the next person. So they're not worried about the number of hours that are left before hot section, the number of hours that are left before overhaul. It's all transferable to the new owner. So it's just something you just don't think about, unlike you think in piston, where you say, well, if the plane has 1,700 hours on a 2,000 hour TBO, you're thinking, oh, I've got to do something in 300 hours. You don't think that with the SF50.
Yeah, so like with the cost of ownership outside of Jetstream, it's unknown, but with Jetstream, it's certain what your cost of ownership is.
100%. I had an owner here recently who had the hydraulic power pack go out on his SF50. Obviously, that's a big deal. Took it to the service center. That part alone was $43,000 to change that hydraulic power pack. He takes it to the service center. The service center says, yep, that's covered under Jetstream. And he walks away with a $0 bill for changing his power pack.
So is Jetstream any different from a G1, G2 to G2 Plus series aircraft?
There might be difference in cost, but the end result is that everything is covered. So buying a pre-owned airplane that's covered under Jetstream gives you the certainty that you don't have the unknown going forward. So there are differences in the generations, but what's absolute is that things are covered under Jetstream. When renewal comes up on Jetstream, it's really important that you continue the program going forward. But why? All those paid up accruals, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you want to keep what you paid into the program.
Correct, yeah. If you've got a couple $100,000 in that engine reserve, that's of significant value, and you do not want to let it lapse.
That's the thing, too. You cannot get Tap Blue outside of being on Jetstream. So that is something that Cirrus and Williams have worked together on, that this engine specifically is not allowed to purchase Tap Blue outside of Cirrus's Jetstream program. So it's very important to keep the airplane on Jetstream, because you don't want to lose, again, if you have a 1,500 hour motor, that's almost half its life. You're saying, well, I don't want to lose the accrual that's already paid up for the previous owner's usage of that engine.
I think that's the biggest benefit of Jetstream, is this a single source solution, right? Every other aircraft manufacturer, you got to figure out an engine program, you got to figure out your airframe program, you got to figure out databases, you got to figure out recurrent training. This is like a one-stop shop. You go to Cirrus, pay the Jetstream up, everything is included.
Most aircraft need a professional aircraft management company. Other jets, you really don't need to own it and do it yourself. You need someone watching when the inspections are due and what's coming due. And the Cirrus does really make it simple in the fact that it's just an annual inspection with a simple 100-hour inspection if you are flying more than 100 hours a year in between, and you just keep track of that, and it makes it very simple to maintain this airplane.